Look at him. Trying to get me already. Pains in the ass. G'day everyone, JoeRilla again, and here I am in a nether fortress. Reason being, I want this purple stuff. And eventually I'll get to the blaze, but that's another thing for another day. Today is about building, because I've got a couple of how can I put this, messes in the overworld, so I need to fix those up. So I'm going to, for lack of a better term, destroy this column. Well, I might just hollow it out because I want probably about 2 stacks of nether brick, and that's going to be used to do some decorating amongst other things. I've already, whoa, bloody hell, scared the crap out of me. Oh, hang on, yep, we're going to, I'm not going to get too greedy, I just need to hollow this out. That, not there, next one over. Wow, that, whew. Lucky I'm not a screamy type of guy, otherwise I'd wake the entire house up. Alright, I'm going to continue down here, and then I'll see you shortly. Alright, so first order of business for today is to make this look a bit nicer. Now, I've picked out most of what I need, but I've just realised there's one thing I didn't get, which was sandstone slabs, so that's what we're going to start with down here. And just gradually, I think I've overcomplicated this inventory actually, because when you look at it, this is pretty much all we need. I thought I was going to need more than this. It's going to be easier than I thought. Look at this. That's actually acceptable. A bit more there. Because it is meant to be diagonal and sort of going out this way. So probably include, maybe not that one. Maybe instead we'll peel this back a tiny bit and then, oh, whoops. Not like that. So we'll go like that, and then, so it doesn't have to be perfect. If you were to cast your imagination for a minute, this desert temple, which for reasons that I'll explain in a minute is missing the middle bit, is a tourist attraction, and to which you can camp out next to it, such as someone is here. Because this is a camping ground as such. These, I need some villagers to do what I want to do with those. This I might rip down, I don't know, but I'm sort of going a little bit of a tangent here. It is relevant though. This, after punching in my seed on the internet, is supposed to be a slime chunk. Now obviously I haven't dug it down enough yet to be able to test that theory, but that's the idea, and obviously that's only up to level 39. Now once it gets to level 39, picture it as sort of like, I'm just going to have waterfalls on each side, and it's not going to be like one of those natural wonders, so like, what's that one in America, Niagara Falls or something like that, and I think we have one in Australia too. It's up in the Northern Territory somewhere, just something where it's like a massive waterfall and everyone thinks it's spectacular. But that's basically what I'm going to be going for. And then how that is going to work is, well, how it's going to tie in with everything else is, you know, this is obviously your stairs up to the camping ground. Down here, when I get the slabs for this little bit here, this isn't going to happen this episode, by the way. That's just this bit and a couple of bits and pieces up there and one other thing. This noisy lot is getting moved on, and I'm going to fill this in, and this is going to become like a little town. picture sort of the average Australian country town if you live in Australia. If you don't, well, I can only imagine it's like an average country town in your country, except probably nowhere near as hot, and in some cases nowhere near as remote. But anyway, the next thing I need to do is now put all this acacia wood that I don't need back. And that I don't. Oh god, I've filled up the chest, haven't I? I'll grab a couple of those. I need a new chest with building blocks. So this stuff can just go down here for now. This is obviously not permanent. For Christ's sake, I'm not that disorganized. Oh, look what I've gone and done. What an idiot. Anyway, I don't need that many, but why not? But yeah, these towers, I'll probably tear this one down or like terraform it into the landscape. This here is going to be sort of like your tourist information center. So I'm gonna, when I find a village, pop a villager in there, and I don't know, I may even just leave this as it is. Oh, I'll get that. We're talking like 2 or 3 episodes in the future here, maybe even 4 or 5. So I'm pretty much just painting the picture as to where we're going with all this. So, as I was saying, do that. Get rid of this. Mow this. I will get rid of this actually. Did I keep that sand? No, I didn't. Of course I didn't. That's okay. Just take out sand. I think that's probably going to be good enough. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. I should put some down there. I'll do that in a sec. But it's not only here I'm going to have the path. I also want to continue it going up there, because I use that fairly frequently. I might even put like a little lookout or something up there just to, I don't know, make it look a bit more authentic. But that's, I don't know. Am I going to do that now or this now? I'll work it out in a sec once I stop stuttering into the microphone. Right, so I've stopped jibber jabbering and I'm going to do this. So this is probably going to be just as simple. We'll get out these. And it's pretty much just a case of color matching, really. It's not too extremely difficult. When I say not too extremely difficult, I mean as far as color matching goes. Function, you sort of got to keep that in mind as well. So we're going to, this is almost too far off each other, but that's okay. Went with that. It's getting dark. So get some of my favorite wood out. Oh, good on you. Right, so then it'll be the next one. Hang on, let me go to bed. Okay, so done that. Now we're going to continue with this staircase up here. Now what I have since figured out is I'm going to take this very nice chocolate brown and mellow this out a bit. And I'll probably have another use for this at some point. Actually, I know exactly what I'm going to use it for, but that's a long way down the track, so we won't worry about it now. I need to make this look a bit less blocky and unnatural. So the idea is just for the major reason I'm doing this one up here, well, I suppose you can probably say the one down there too, is I was trying to make life easier for myself. Eventually I'll just have mine carts or, you know, wings or, you know, wherever I get to. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. I don't have overly urgent needs of going to the end or anything like that, so how's that looking? Not so bad. See, it doesn't have to be perfect. I kind of sort of want it to be imperfect, just because if you imagine this is an area being used fairly regularly by tourists. Now, don't know how it is in your country, but Australia is very big on its tourism. Tourism and mining are its two biggest industries. So you do get a hell of a lot of tourist foot traffic, and well, let's say a lot of people who come to Australia for the first time are a bit, I don't know, another word would be unknowing of how Australia works. But basically, I mean, that's neither here nor there, but basically it's a high foot traffic area and it degrades over time. And let's just say maintenance of things like this in Australia doesn't seem to be too high on the local council's list of priorities. Well, I suppose it differs from council to council. I'm rambling here, basically. I'm just filling in audio space. Oh, crap. Filling in audio space whilst I build this on camera. Which, I don't know, I'm sort of doing this a little bit different because, as you've probably seen in the previous two episodes, I've done a lot of chopping and changing clips and doing a lot of stuff off camera. As I get more practice at this talking and playing thing, I'm trying more and more things on camera and trying for longer segments of video, which just quietly also makes it easy to edit. I actually did a count. This computer crashed 12 times whilst editing the last episode. I used HitFilm Express, which I don't. It apparently needs, what do I know? It needs a fairly high spec computer, which my computer. Well, where is it there? You probably see in the top right. It's not. They're the main two. It's not great, but it'll do. It does the job. Fill that. But yeah, 12 times. That was just frustrating as hell. I'm going to maybe shave this back. God, if I spend too much recording of this, I don't have time to show you what I want to do this episode. The whole reason I went to get the nether brick. By the way, I will find the just whilst I'm talking about that nether fortress, when I go back to it, I will find the blaze spawner, and then we'll be doing some cool stuff. But how's that work? What do we reckon? It's a bit straight, but I suppose so's the landscape, so it sort of has to be. It doesn't really bother me too. It's not bad at all, I'm not unhappy with it. I can't be bothered doing this right now, so I'll probably do it either off camera or do it later. I'm going to cut it here and get prepared for the next thing I want to do. So I'll see you shortly, guys. Okay, so the Humble Barbecue. This is a major feature in parks all over Australia. They're usually electric, they usually suck, but some of them are, I don't know, reasonable, I suppose. Better than eating nothing. This one I'm going to do up as if it were a little bit nicer, since this is, as I said earlier, it will be a tourist attraction. So, we want to show the tourists, a slightly nicer way to cook your food outdoors. So, I'll pop these down. Now, for a barbecue, you need your tongs. I'm just going to hang those up. There we go. There's your tongs. Obviously, I've got my grill plates now. Nice and fancy. I've got me beer, which is, as you can see, either a very awful looking beer or it's empty. Use your imagination. Now, over this side, I just want to see how this looks. What's that look like? I suppose when you put it in context, this would be your variable heat, which, by the way, most of these public barbecues don't have that. You press it on and then it takes about 10 minutes to heat up, stays hot for about 7 to 8 minutes, and then starts cooling down, turns off again. So you're constantly using power, and a lot of it. But what we might include, if I put it, here we go. This obviously is going to serve absolutely zero function whatsoever, but there we go. An igniter button, which obviously it's not going to ignite it, but you know, as I said, this is more for show now. One more thing is needed here. I'm not 100% sure how to simulate it. Actually, yes, I am. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Where is it? Okay, so obviously, when you buy your meat, it comes on a little foam tray. It's usually black, but for the sake of this, I've completely lost it. Yep, don't know where it is, but that's alright. I don't need much. We are going to quickly pop those onto smelt, and then we're going to basically put here, maybe here, the used meat tray, because we've already, you know, taken the meat, taken the snags out, chucked them on the barbie, cooked them, and then disposed of them. Well, ingested the snags and am yet to dispose of the empty meat tray. Let's quickly get rid of this darkness. So it's not perfect, and I still haven't quite worked out how I would simulate a full meat tray, which is what would be better. But you know, you work with what you can. Didn't I put steaks? I did. Look at that. Beautiful. I don't really think anything around this side is overly necessary, really. I may put another flower pot with something green in it, just to sort of look like a salad bowl. But I'm not real sure, because obviously most salad bowls are much wider and shorter than your average beer stein or a beer glass, or you know, whatever you want to call that. That's it for the Barbie for now. It's looking a little nicer. Yeah, something's missing. Give us some feedback. Like it does need something. I think it might be something to look like the salad bowl, but I need to figure out how I'm going to do that. Anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It's a, what is this? It's a 5x2 structure that is purely aesthetic. We got bigger fish to fry, and we're about to go do that. So I'm going to get myself prepared, and I'll see you soon. Alright, so I said I wasn't going to leave it like this, and I meant it. This is today's sort of pet project, is making this room look a bit nicer. Now, something I've thought of, and you know, originally, is once I have got myself a brewing stand, I can actually put another chest here full of damage potions, and that way I can stand here and just chuck them at them. But that's a bit further down the track. So, but for now, we're going to be making this look a bit nicer. So I need to get rid of that. Oh, in there. Apparently there was. And this, and a lot of this needs to be cleared out, and I have a little idea for sort of a design for the walls. I don't know what I'm going to do with the back wall yet. I may just sort of leave it looking a bit more natural, but with a different material. Floor, I haven't really thought about it, but we'll get to it. These two walls is what I'm focusing on. Who knows, I might do this wall in the same fashion, but I'm going to clear the space necessary, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so this is the shape I'm after. Maple block eyes. I thought that was pretty cool. We're going to go with, as we did in there, we're going to go for the blue clay background, and of course I left it back at the base, typical. Red in there for the mouth. Not magma blocks as well, because that would just be too much. Or would it actually? Hang on. Now that I've thought of it, might just make it cooler. Let's see. Actually, yeah, I like that. Yeah, we're going to run with that. Alright, that saves me a trip back home. Anyway, I'm going to get replacing all the background with blue, and then clear out everything so that this cyan clay frame is visible. So thankfully that's not too much, but over this side it is a little bit more. But yeah, I'm going to get into that, and I'll see you shortly. Alright, so in my usual fine form, it's now 2 days later. I had a legitimate excuse this time. It was my birthday, so I got extremely drunk one night, and then spent the entirety of the following day recovering into the next night. So no recording on those nights. You'll see here, I've done me spider, and I'm actually quite pleased with it. And you'll also see I've, well, kind of cheated a little bit, but I sort of prefer it that way, because that there's just wasted space. It's not really going to be anything worthwhile. I've added some clay here, and I've just, give me some of that. Where'd it go? There. Just going to fill in the rest of this wall, and then we're going to do something about the floor. The ceiling I'm going to leave as is. I kind of like it how it's like a little bit natural. I've tried to keep this shape as natural as possible, but I don't know, it's something I'm still kind of iffy with, these natural shapes, but I'm getting there. Excuse me. Fill in the rest of this is next on the agenda. So try and keep to this shape I had going here. It wasn't anything special, but you know. One thing I did do, you probably noticed, is clear out any granite or diorite, because, oh, let's face it, neither of them are in any way, shape or form good looking blocks. So we'll omit those from the build. How's that? It's a little bit cramps coming in, but it's not so bad. This really, I really need damage potions for this. It's almost unusable without them. Oh, hello. Hang on, where's my dirt? Dirt pillars are easier to take down. And that, oh no, we can't have that. Was it I heard some consensus in the community that apparently diorite looks like bird shit? I can kind of see why they'd say that. But anyway. Oh, bugger, I forgot something. That's okay, I'll do it later. Now the floor. So I might try and just do this with you quickly. So I'm going to be using nether brick. Now, it's not a commonly used material. Oh, I know. Oh, oops. I forgot that was there. Oh, that's alright. I don't need it anymore. Goodbye, infinite source. Make another one if I need it. Oh, you spoon. Okay. So with nether brick, I'm also going to be doing something else a little bit out of the ordinary, is making absolutely zero effort to hide my lighting. I'm actually going to use it as a, as a detail, I'll say. So we're going to get rid of all this, get rid of the entire floor, and then we'll start replacing it with nether brick. I'm not going to do the whole thing with this, but maybe just this one little bit, because I sort of want to make a feature. Oh, jeez. A feature out of some of the lighting. Get rid of this, don't need it. This is going to remain as is. This I'm going to make into possibly a minecart track to somewhere else. So this would be almost like a station, and then if you were to picture it as a train, you'd either get on or get off here, and this is where you come for your XP or your string. Or as time goes on, I'll probably use this less and less, but I barely use it now. I haven't finished it and I barely use it. Well, anyway, what do you do? So now the spacing of this isn't ideal for anything too consistent, but if I was to just start filling it in, I'll just give you a brief example of what I want to do. I may not keep it in this location, but what I want to do is, which side should I put it on? I hate even numbers. Odd numbers are much easier to work with. I'll put it here. So we'll chop that, and then what I'll do is grab me a stair, there, and there. Get rid of that. I haven't even mapped this out in my head. So I have mapped it out in my head. Just thought in creative, but I'm fairly confident it's going to look pretty good. So I'm just going to go straight ahead and boom and boom, and it looks just as good as it did in my head. I really like that actually. So I'm going to continue this floor, and then we'll just about be finished up for the episode. So I will see you shortly. I reckon when I eventually get whatever this is going to be done, and then you're walking into here, this will be actually pretty good. Once I get that one done, this will be closed off. That's just for now. But I don't hate it. Like, it looks as though I just haven't bothered with half of it, which is partly true, but I don't know, it just seems, for me, it seems to flow well. Like, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Do we need to do something with this? Or can we just leave it? I don't know. Kind of like it. I quite like this. Not bad. Yeah, as I say, I'm really not unhappy with this. It's not bad for something I just thought of. And yeah, obviously carpet hiding some glowstone in the usual fashion. But that's going to be it for now. Oh, actually, no, wait, there's one more thing I want to do. I did say this was a campsite, didn't I? What's missing? That I said I was going to put in and haven't yet. That's right, a campfire. So that's going to go right... Let me keep it away from flammables. I can't remember the fire spread radius. Is it 5 or 7 blocks? Well, we'll work off 7 just to be on the safe side. I think right about here, I reckon. We're going to be a good spot for it. I started this little piece of recording and did not even get my inventory sorted out. That's very disorganized, isn't it? Well, I better do something about it. That's not even where that stuff goes. That one. Give me a minute. Alright, now that I've got myself prepared like a reasonable organised person, that goes there. Light it on fire. Job done, right? Nah, of course not. Can't just leave it at that. Need to make it look nice. So, I've had a quick think about it, and I'm not 100% sure how well this is going to go, but oops, that just got burnt. There was one more thing I forgot to grab, of course, it's just here. This is a bit of trial and error, but obviously you can't put wood here because it's just going to get burnt, because obviously I have left fire tick on. So the only other brown block I can think of off the top of my head that doesn't look like total shit is this, the brown clay. Soul sand, don't really like it. Might be worth looking at, but you never know. And then obviously a lot of the time you've got like stones around your fire. This isn't ideal, obviously, but you know, work with what we've got now to sort of make it look like there's a little bit more going on. I'm just thinking, just to make it look more like twit in there. I don't hate it. They do so. If I break this though, does the curve stay? Oh, it does. That's actually good. That works out perfectly fine then, because I thought I would just add this. It's a bit tall. Yeah, I don't really think I thought this through, did I? It's way too tall, but who cares? Let's just do it anyway. A cooking pot. No, that looks ridiculous being that tall. No, that's gotta go. Oh. Oh well. I really should have seen that coming. I think I'll just leave it at the having the tracks going around, because that actually doesn't look too bad. Bloody hell. All things considered. Anyway. You know what? I'll leave it for now, but yeah, I'll leave it for now. Anyway, that's all I've got time for. Thanks for watching. Give us your feedback. You know, what do you reckon of the aesthetics of what I've done in this episode? They're pretty basic for the most part, but you know, just gets the place looking a little bit nicer here and there. But as I say, that's all I've got time for. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See you later. Have a good one.